of you. Welcome back all of you in class 9 science, and today we are going to start the topic chapter 9, that is force and laws of motion. So now we are starting our chapter 9, force and laws of motion. So students, first we have to clear the term force, that what is force. As you all are familiar that if we want to open a door, what we do? We push the door with our hand. So in our everyday life, we observe that some effort are required to put a stationary object into motion or to stop a moving object. So we push the door with our hand, that means we will apply a muscular force on the door. Likewise, if we need to hammer a nail in wood, we have to strike the hammer on nail with great strength. So if we want to do these type of things, we have to apply some strength, or we have to apply some force on the particular object. So students, what is force? How can we define the force? We can say that a push or pull is called force, or we can define it as an external influence which when applied on a body can bring about change in it. So we can say that we ordinarily experience has a muscular effort and say that we must push, hit or pull on an object to change its state of motion. So the concept of force based on this push, hit or pull. So we can say that any action which cause pull, hit or push on a body is called force. Force cannot be seen, but it can be judged by only effect which it produces in various bodies around us. Many effect we can say, like the following changes can be brought about in a body by applying the force. That change in position, we can say that a force can move a stationary body, or force can change the position of the particular body if it is in the rest state. So like kicking of football, and it can change in the direction also. We can say that force can change the direction and speed of the moving body. For example, applying force on a steering wheel of a car, then we can change the direction of the moving car. Or we can say a force can change the shape and size of a body. That means change in dimension. For example, squeezing a tube of toothpaste, we can change the shape of the toothpaste by squeezing it. That means by applying the force on the toothpaste. And we can change the speed of the body, that means we can accelerating a car. So these are the effect of force that we can observe, that force can move a stationary body, force can stop a moving body, force can change the direction and speed of moving body, and force can change the shape and size of a body. So this is all about the force, and we can define it by push, pull or hit on a body. We can say that any action which cause pull, hit or push on a body is called force. Now we'll discuss about the different kind of force, that means types of force. So here is a two types of forces, balanced force and unbalanced force. Forces are of two types, such as balanced force and unbalanced force. So first we will discuss about the balanced force. What is balanced force? The equal and opposite force acting on a body that will not make the body move, that is called balanced force. When the net effect produced by a number of forces acting on a body is zero, then the forces are said to be balanced force. Balanced force can only bring a change in shape of the body. For example, suppose a block of wood is placed on horizontal surface and uh, two string A and B are connected to it, okay, and the block is in state of rest, as you can see in the figure. So if we pull A and B string with equal magnitude of forces, then the block does not change its state of rest. So such type of forces are known as balanced force. So we can say that balanced force do not change the state of the rest and the state of motion. For example, in a tug of war, when both the teams apply similar force from both the sides, rope does not move either side, that is resultant force is 0. So we can say it is balanced force. So the equal and opposite force acting on a body that will not make the body move is called balanced force, or we can say the resultant force will be the 0. Then what is unbalanced force? The unequal and opposite force acting on the body that will make the body move in the direction of greater force applied. This is called unbalanced force. When the net effect produced by a number of forces acting on a body is non-zero, then the forces are said to be unbalanced forces. So a body suppose want to relocate the refrigerator, okay, if a suppose we can take the example of refrigerator, okay, so if we want to relocate the refrigerator in a house, so we have to push the refrigerator with a small force. The refrigerator does not move due to frictional force acting in a direction opposite to the push. So if we push the refrigerator harder, then the pushing force becomes more than the friction, and due to this the refrigerator starts moving in the direction of push. So we can say that unbalanced force is working here. So the unequal and the opposite force acting on the body that will make the body move in the direction of greater force applied. This is unbalanced force. For example, we can take the example of tug of war. When one of the team suddenly releases the rope, then unbalanced force act on the other team, due to which it falls backward. So if an unbalanced force is applying on a moving object, there will be change either in its speed or in the direction of its motion. So to accelerate the motion of an object, an unbalanced force is required. So this is all about balanced force and unbalanced force. Now we will discuss the Newton's law of motion, Newton's first law of motion. Newton studied that ideas of Galileo regarding the motion of an object. He formulated 3 fundamental laws that govern the motion of object, and these 3 laws are known as a Newton's law of motion. So first we will discuss here Newton's first law of motion. It states that an object will continue to remain in its state of rest or of uniform motion along a straight line path until an external force acts on it. This means all objects resist change in their state. We can say that the body at rest will remain at rest, and a body in motion will remain in motion until or unless some external force is applied. Suppose a person standing in a bus falls backward when the bus is started moving suddenly. This happened because the person and the bus both are in the rest, while the person is not moving as but starts moving. The legs of the person starts moving along with the bus, but rest portion of the body has tendency to remain in the rest. Because of this, person falls backward, and if he is not alert. And a person standing in a moving bus falls forward if driver apply brakes suddenly. So this factor is working here. So we can say, according to Newton's first law of motion, it states that body at rest will remain at the rest and a body in motion will remain in motion until or unless some external force is applied, and the factor which is working here is known as inertia. So for example, we can take another example. As you can see in the figure, if we need to ride a bicycle, we need to pedal as it can't move on its own. So we have to apply force on the pedal to ride it, because it is having the rest state. So if you want to move the bicycle or ride the bicycle, we have to apply the force on the pedal. So we have to apply force on the pedal to ride it. Similarly, if we need to change its direction, we need to apply force on the steering wheel. If we want to need the change in the direction of a moving car, we need to apply force on the steering wheel. So students, we have to note down that in order to move or change any property of body, change any property means a change in a speed, change in the direction, we need to overcome the inertia, because the factor behind it, we can say, that is the inertia. So what is inertia? Inertia is a property that resists the changes in a body by itself, and inertia is an inherent property. That means we can say, what is inertia? Inertia is the unwillingness or inability, we can say, inability of an object to change its state of rest or of uniform motion along a straight line is called inertia of the object. It is inherent property of all the objects. It is the inherent property. That means it is having in the all objects from their origin. So Newton's first law of motion is also known as a Galileo's laws of inertia, because the factor that is working behind this phenomenon is the inertia, and inertia is the inherent property of all the objects. And inertia of an object is measured by its mass. So what is inertia? Inertia is the inability of an object to change its state of rest or of uniform motion along a straight line is called the inertia of the object. Factors on which inertia depends: it depends upon mass. More the mass, more the inertia, or less the mass, less the inertia. So inertia of an object is measured by its mass. Inertia is directly proportional to the mass. It means that inertia increases with the increase in mass and decreases with decrease in mass. So a heavy object will have more inertia than the lighter one. Now we'll discuss about the types of inertia. So we can discuss here three types of inertia: inertia of rest, inertia of motion, inertia of direction. So what is inertia of rest? Inertia of rest is the inability of body to change the state of rest on its own. The tendency of a body to oppose any change in its state of rest is known as inertia of rest. For example, that we have discussed already, when a bus suddenly starts moving forward, then the passenger in the bus fall backward, or the carpet is beaten with a stick to remove the dust particle, that is also inertia of rest. When a tree is vigorously shaken, then some of the leaves fall from the tree, that is also inertia of rest is working behind this phenomenon. Then inertia of motion. Inertia of motion is the tendency of a body to oppose any change in its state of uniform motion is known as inertia of motion. So we can say that inertia of motion is the inability of body to resist the change in state of motion on its own. So in order to move or change any property of body, we need to overcome the inertia. Then we have discussed the definition of inertia. Inertia is the property that resists the change in a body by itself. Inertia is an inherent property, and students, you can see in the figure a big ball or a small ball. So big ball is having a larger inertia, or small ball is having a less inertia than the big ball. Then we have discussed the factors on which it depends. We have discussed already. Inertia is depending on the mass. Then types of inertia: inertia of rest, inertia of motion. Now inertia of direction. Inertia of direction is the inability of body to resist the change in direction of body on its own. So we can say the tendency of body to oppose any change in its direction of motion is known as inertia. For example, when a fast moving bus, suppose negotiate a curve on the road, then passengers fall away from the center of the curved road. Or we can say that suppose a stone tied to string and whirling in a horizontal circle. If the string break, then the stone flies away. So these are the example of inertia of direction. So what is inertia of direction? Inertia of direction is the inability of body to resist the change in direction of on its own. So this is all about the types of inertia that we have discussed: inertia of rest, inertia of motion, and inertia of direction. Now we'll discuss some example to understand the inertia. So have you noticed that passenger in the bus fall forward when bus stops suddenly? That we have discussed already. As you can see in the figure, when bus is moving, the bus and the passengers sitting in it are in motion, but when force is applied on the brakes, it stops. But due to the inertia of motion, the passenger remain in the state of motion, hence they fall forward. Another example we can take. Have you experienced that when carpet is beaten with a stick, the dust separate out? Why? Because initially the carpet and the dust are in a state of rest, but when carpet is beaten with a stick, it comes in motion and moves backward. So due to the inertia of rest, the dust particle remain in the state of the rest, hence they get separated. So these are the example of inertia of rest and inertia of motion that we have discussed. So students, today we'll do this much. We will continue this topic in the next video. Thank you everyone, and have a nice day.